everybody, it's Fannie here. It's a beautiful day in the Finger Lakes and I'm out for a ride on my 2001 Yamaha V-Star 650 Classic Cruiser. First bike I ever rode, never learned to ride. It was actually Dick's. I kind of usurped it when he said to me, you're going to have to learn how to ride. And at that point in time I had a commute that was about 56 miles each way and just had my second kid and I wanted to do something different. I was knocking down the door of middle age and Dick had been riding for a while. Looked like he had so much fun. He was leaving me with the kids and I thought, you know what, I gotta nut up and I gotta try this. And if I had to commute to work over an hour each way, I thought best to learn how to do it on a motorcycle. This Yamaha 650 was like literally an appendage for me, commuting every day on work. And it was like a rocket ship. Loads of power, very low slung cruiser. I was kind of scared of it because it had a lot of power compared to going to like a bicycle to a motorcycle and to learn on this. And Dick, I didn't take any classes. Dick gave me a couple words of encouragement and he put me on the bike and he pointed me down the road and he said, all right, Fannie, this is what you got to do. It was like that movie Better Off Dead, you know, when they're learning how to ski. It's like, just go that way really fast and if something gets in your way, turn. And that was pretty much what Dick said to me. Let's go that way really fast, don't stall, and when something gets in your way, turn. Fortunately, I have a little bit of God-given talent when it comes to motorcycle riding, or at least that's what I tell myself, and I really enjoy it. Riding this 650 every day, and it was the only one I ever really rode. I tried Dick's Yamaha FC, blah blah blah, whatever sport bike, the one he's riding right in front of me right now, and to be honest with you, I rode it to work once, and between you and me and the greenery here, I don't want to say I dropped it. I like to say that it took a rest in the parking lot when I was backing it out of a parking space. I quickly realized that a high center of gravity and sports bikes weren't going to work for me. It was lovely to ride, you know, great riding position, very aggressive, but I got a long torso and short legs, although I like to think the opposite. So it's really difficult for me to ride something that has a high center of gravity. And I like to think I have a lot of upper body strength, but the truth is I really probably have more than the average woman, but not enough to, you know, stop that beast from falling over. At least with this low slung cruiser, this V-Star 650, I feel like I'm sitting in like a recliner, like a lazy boy, or, you know, I'm like in a Lamborghini, you know, and I'm at the controls and I'm gonna take off and I'm not gonna wobble, and no matter how fast I'm going, I'm at ease and it's just a beautiful ride. I realized very quickly the type of bike that was going to really catch my eye, and if I had to choose, and I've been talking to Dick about this, like I love the Triumph Bobber. I think right now if I, you know, wanted to buy another bike, I would get a Bobber with some really big ape drapes. I just like the aesthetic. And this V-Star, if I could put ape drapes on this, I probably would. Maybe one day, if Dick lets me. He just thinks ape drapes are kind of funny and he giggles, but there's just something about, you know, sitting on your ass and your knees are up to your boobs and you have your arms hanging down like waterfalls. Yeah, I just like it. I don't know how it would, you know, impact the controls, so those of you out there who ride with ape drapes, kind of drop a comment because I'm curious to see. But it's something about that badass easy rider. Maybe it's because I'm from upstate New York. My neck might be a little red, but loving those ape drapes. So what else can I say? Finger Lakes region is very different from where Dick and I live in London. I love London and I don't think I would ever leave London, but my heart is always here in the Finger Lakes, and especially for motorcycle riding. My dad is very mechanically inclined, worked on race cars and rode motorcycles all his life. So when I told him after I had my second kid that I had learned how to ride a motorcycle, I could see the joy, the glint in his eye, and he was just pleased as punch. And I felt really proud because I was doing it for myself, first and foremost, which I think, you know, you lady riders out there, and it also really does wonderful things for your confidence, not just for riding and driving, but in everyday life, because you know, you should never let anything like that, gender stereotypes, stop you. I think the motorcycling community is very accepting of women. One of my missions in riding is to open up the doors to women who would really like to try it. You know, maybe you've been riding pillion, maybe you've admired from afar, is to just kind of overcome that fear. And I have to laugh because Dick and I had a bit of a row, a little quabble this morning as we were getting on these bikes. He was getting them out and he said, all right, let's go for a ride, Fannie. I said, yeah, that's great, that's wonderful. But me, I'm like a fighter pilot. I gotta go through all of my safety checks and check my own mental well-being before I get on a motorcycle, and it's a little bit obsessive compulsive. You know, I have a checklist of things I have to do before I get on a bike, and especially if it's a bike I haven't ridden in a while, you know, I want to familiarize myself with the controls. And even though this bike was like an appendage to me, the 650 V-Star, it really is like a part of me, and being back on it is so amazing. But I said to Dick, I was like, well, you know, he pulled it out of the garage on wet grass. I said, is this bike gonna slip? Yes. It was a very dolty thing for me to say. It was just my fear that I had to overcome getting on this bike again. And I said to him, before we pull out and before we go anywhere, I gotta do some figure eights. I gotta do some donuts in the parking lot. And he's just looking at me, rolling his eyes, and I'm like, it's a process, baby. You just gotta go with the Fannie. You gotta let her do what she's gonna do, you know? And that's all it took. It literally took one U-turn in the parking lot and I was ready to go. But that's just the way I am. And I think women, we do tend to be a lot more methodical. So, you know, men who are riding or women who are getting their friends and partners into riding, be patient, because it's about that mental confidence in order for a rider to go out there and learn how to do what they're gonna do. Yeah, because I love to be prepared. I like to think ahead, I like to be organized, and it's the same thing when I ride. Obviously safety first, but I like to know where I'm going, the equipment that I'm riding, who I'm riding with, you know, where in the formation I'm gonna be riding. Kind of silly, but it gives me comfort. How does this compare to my mutt back in the UK? Well, Jesus Christ, night and day. Living in the UK, when we first moved there, I got on a scooter that we had purchased, one of those cute little Vespas, very trendy. Took it out the first time and just was really uncomfortable riding such a little teeny bike compared to the V-Star. I also didn't have a lot of faith in my abilities driving on the opposite side of the road, and I just found that driving in the City of London, people are just less concerned with the rules of the road. And I felt that I was taking my life in my own hands. And, you know, Dick and I are a partnership, absolutely, but I always feel an overwhelming sense of responsibility, you know, if anything ever happened to me, which is another big issue. As a lady and a mother riding motorcycles, you get so many people telling you, you know, motorcycles, and you're going to ride a motorcycle and you're going to die, and you're going to leave your kids orphaned, and you know, your husband widowed, and all this stuff. And I think, you know, yeah, death is a concern, but it's like anything you do. You can get hit crossing a road, and you just have to be careful. You have to be aware. You have to be a very defensive driver when you're riding, no matter what the circumstances is. So I tend to be overly conservative and cautious with my safety, and I think when Dick and I ride together, it's really cute because he's kind of like, you know, my bouncer. He kind of checks everybody away from me, making sure that nobody's getting too close and that I'm all right. And it's good, and it gives me a sense of comfort too when I ride. But, you know, being a rider, you have to be independent and you have to be confident in your own abilities, because at the end of the day, your health and safety is in your own control. Jumping back. So again, I got to the point now where Dick is going on these great motorcycle trips, and I'm thinking, yeah, I want to be there. I want to be doing these things. And he goes on these motorcycle rides, and I like riding pillion, but, you know, it's my nature to not let anyone, even Dick, be in control for very long. So I want to get back into the driver's seat and get my hand on the clutch. So when I rode the mutt, bought the mutt, I thought this is really great. But let me say this. That's a great motorcycle. I was attracted to it because it kind of met my styling, you know, that kind of, you know, great escape, beautiful World War I, World War II kind of styling about it. And the hilts was just beautiful. And I have to say that when I got back on it, or when I got on the 125, I thought, Jesus, this is hard work. my clutch hand, my thumb was aching constantly, very titchy, gearing on it. You know, when you're trying to go on a low gear at a slow speed and maintain control and not stall out, it takes work. You know, compared to the 650, you know, larger ended motorcycle, which essentially drives itself, you know, the hilts. You have to be an active driver, and I had to start getting one of those, you know, those like the hand squeezy things, you know, that you work out with. So every night before bed, I was doing my hand strength exercises with those kind of springy things with the handles, and but I thought it's for the greater good, because I'm going to ride that goddamn hilts, and it's not going to be painful. And I also find that, you know, going fast, so going on the highway. And even though I've got my L plates, so I can't go on any M roads, going on the A roads at a good clip, you can sometimes catch wind and you move around a lot and you bobble and you got to be comfortable. So really it is a double-edged sword. So for you that are just getting on motorcycles, especially ladies, and you tend to be of the lighter variety, you got to kind of get comfort with that, with the speed and the wind and being able to maintain control. So I enjoy riding the 125. But again, between us girls, I kind of can't wait to get out of the 125, especially now that I'm back on a 650 riding it. It's just so much more enjoyable. I think I'll always have a place in my heart for the hilts. I don't think I would get rid of it. You know, I like to keep it, and I want our kids to learn how to ride. You know, our daughter already has her CBT. Some of the necessary life skills, I think, for every woman is you should know how to ride a motorcycle, and you should be able to drive a manual transmission. Absolutely. These turns, got to learn how to lean. See, the other thing with a 125, you know, you really got to put it in. You really got to lean. You really got to, you know, show the hilts what your intention is to what you want to do. A big low-slung cruiser like this V-Star, it just reads your body. Like, you just have to. It's almost like, I don't know, a Tom Cruise film. What was that one where he's like wagging his hands at all these digital things in the sky, and he's got glasses, you know, where you just kind of slightly indicate something and then the bike responds, which is really handy. Again, less work. So let's see, what bikes would I like to ride? That's a good question. I'm really interested in Triumphs, very much into Triumphs right now. I've watched all of Dick's videos. I have absolutely no interest in sport bikes. You know, if I have to wear a onesie to ride a bike, I'm not going to do it. If there's any kind of fluorescent anything, I don't want to ride. Get it out of my face. I love very classic looking motorcycles. I like cafe racers. Dick's Street Cup, beautiful bike. Really have to ride it. But again, it's really a mind game, especially for you ladies, for you women, learning how to ride. I want to ride the Street Cup legally. I gotta wait till I get rid of my L plates. All right, I can definitely handle a 650, but anything above a 650, I'm like, oh my God, can I do it? Is it too big? And I just have to do it. I have to get on and try it out. You know, you can tool around on a bike and you can know quite quickly if it's not for you. Then just get off. Don't waste your time. Don't risk getting hurt. Harley Davidsons. I used to hate the Sportsters. I thought, God, these things look silly. Thanks, Dick, pointing out an oil slick and roadkill. Boy, that smells like skunk. You know, the Heritage kind of soft tails, those are really beautiful. I don't know. Haven't spent a lot of time looking at it. Dick's more obsessed than I am. I like riding. I like being out. I like the vibe. I like going to the Ace Cafe, having a good burger. I'm a simple woman, but very high maintenance.